Yo, what's going on, man? Today is May the 29th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we are live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. Coming off a very, very frustrating night, man. Excuse me. Super frustrating night. And, it's pretty easy for me to, just kind of push past the losses, but it's been I know it hasn't been like anything historic, but it's been a really this is the worst playoffs that I'm having since I've been handicapping sports over the last 4 years. In the WNBA, it's like every play that I give out, most of them are winners, but the ones that the lean's been cashing. The plays that I actually been taking have not. So it was an 0-2 night yesterday. I took I didn't even let me change this. I do want, I'm always transparent. I want you guys to be able to see the recap. So I took the Connecticut Sun team total over at the end of the first quarter after they couldn't score the basketball. Let's see if this works. There we go. So Connecticut Sun team total over just because the number had ticked up so much. And that should say 80.5, not 8.5. It seemed like they struggled to get that as well. But 80.5 was the number, and then Miami and Minnesota and Dallas over the 210.5. I mean, Dallas just literally could not make a shot. Kyrie Irving finished, I don't even think he finished in the teens in points. I think he had like 12. And that game barely stays under the total, so that one was heartbreaking as well. Both of those plays were 0.75 units for myself, and the updated numbers, as you guys can see, are over here on the right-hand side. The NBA, pretty much down 7 units on the season, which is on 7 units in the playoffs, which is it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all, and it definitely feels like I'm supposed to be on the right side. Just haven't been for whatever reason, but we'll keep grinding. And things will, they definitely turn around. It's just, man, I feel like I'm in a big slump right now, and it's frustrating because you put so much time and effort into the games, handicapping the games, whether you're waking up early, staying up late. But I get off my tangent. As far as winners for the t-shirt giveaway, it's my guy Justin again. I'm not sure if Justin's in here in the comments, but he did have a score last night of, what did I see? So 109 to 104 Timberwolves is what Justin had. And it finished something very, very close to that. What was the final score? It's like, I wish it would have been 109 to 104 because that would have been over 211, but it finished 105 to 100. So he was 5 points off of both, 4 points off the Mavs total and 5 points off the Timberwolves total. So Justin, I wonder if Justin is in here in the chat. Let me check real quick. I got Justin in here. He is here, top of the morning. First comment as always. Justin, let me know if you got your first shirt, and if you did, let me know if you want a cap next. I'll send you a cap if you won not back to back, but you've won twice now. So shout out to my guy Justin. Soden Willie, I guess he was on the Timberwolves. He said Timberwolves in 7. I don't know about that. What up to my guy Fahrenheit? He says like, comment, share, subscribe, buy some merch, become a member. Appreciate all that. All right. Tag, I kind of agree with this comment as well, man. He says the ref determine who wins the game. We're better off waiting to see if the refs are going to allow the Wolves to be physical, because last night the refs let the Wolves beat them up. In-play bet for me, could not talk you off of that at all. Luka was getting hounded, and it's sad to say because they definitely go over the team total if they get a couple more free throws, but it seemed like it kind of let the Timberwolves set the tone defensively by allowing Luka to not be getting fouled. Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards was in his back pocket, and I get it, but like if you've been calling it consistently throughout the series, why change it up now? And they were definitely allowed to be more physical with him. I definitely agree with this comment from Tag. I had to fix the date. I don't know how I messed that up. What up, Marcus? Rawweiler, good morning to you. Timberwolves said put some respect on their name. I mean, yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. I mean, I think Cat said put some respect on his name specifically. He was the one that was playing so bad. And I talked about, great shooters not go. It's really easy to just jump on the train of like wanting to fade them and dog them. But great shoot. I mean, you've been shooting the ball. It's really muscle memory, so you can go through your ups and your downs. It's gonna be slides. And I thought Cat would bounce back yesterday. I just didn't think that they were gonna be able to stop Dallas's offense. And lack of foul calls, Kyrie missing some shots. The bench played really, really well, but we do have a game 5. What up, Chaz? He said, man, I had Brink and Clark to go over 35 together. Clark gets 30. Clark gets 30. Brink gets 3. That's right. I did see Cameron Brink. She did not do anything yesterday. That was by far her worst game of the season. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. She dropped her first 30 ball yesterday. We're going to get into that for sure as well. Frankie says, yeah, I went with Rob Vino specific. Timberwolves team total 105. That man is very sharp. I was sweating that parlay. Yeah, shout out to Rob Vino, my guy. I love hearing. Rob's probably one of my favorite sports bettors to listen to. It's like story time, the way he explains the prop, the way he explains what he likes in the game. I love listening to Rob break down the games when I can with Ski and over on Wager Talk. All right, I'm not gonna get to all the comments because I'm trying to keep this show quick. Let me go through a couple more. Anthony says, "Don't worry, brush it off. Take a deep breath. It's another day." Yeah, I'm with all that, Anthony. Like I typically don't let the losses affect me that much, but when you have the Connecticut Sun team total to go over 80.5, and the original line was 86.5 at the end of the first quarter because they start so slow, and you know by all means necessary, Phoenix just wants to run up and down the floor, shoot a ton of shots. But Phoenix actually shoots the worst 3-point percentage in WNBA history last night. So Connecticut doesn't even need to score. I mean, they finished the game with 70 points and still won by 23. It was oh man, I was air punching everything. Man, I was really, really frustrated. I tweeted about it yesterday, and then just watching Dallas just not be able to score the basketball after they've been able to get whatever it is that they want in this whole entire series. It's really, really frustrating, man. It's super frustrating. But I'll move on. I digress. What's up, Eric? What up, Matt? Marcus says Wolves are nothing for him. Rob been here this morning. What up, Rob? Justin says he did get his t-shirt yesterday. He said you can send me that same exact t-shirt in the same exact size. It's gonna be a gift. Appreciate it. Got you, Justin. I can do that. I'll send you another one. What up, Mike Diesel? Let's go through. I'm trying to get through a couple more. My opinion, not yours. Just have a feeling the league wants to stretch the Mavs and Wolves series out a couple more games. Yeah, see, I'm not disagreeing with this part. I think that they probably do too, so we don't have to go so long without basketball because the finals don't start until next Thursday, the 6th. But if Dallas just if Kyrie makes a couple shots, it doesn't matter what the NBA wants. Kyrie had plenty of open looks last night that typically fall. And of course he was due for some aggression. I think he had 33 points, something like that in game 3. But I just didn't think it would be that bad, man. Like he just really shot the ball so poorly from the field last night. Even though Cat played well, Dallas was there the whole entire game. Like they, do what they do, and they just couldn't overcome that 5-point deficit in the fourth quarter. They ended up being tied 27-27. But those shots that went in game 3 didn't go in game 2. They shot 50% from the 3-point line in game 3. We remember last night they shot 35%, and Kyrie shot 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, 6 for 18 for the game. Him and Kyrie both had 30 points in game 3. Yesterday they combined for 42. Kyrie had 16 and Luka had 28. So, I mean, that's the game. That's the game right there. But like I said, I digress. Taylor says, Wolves really going to come back from 3-0, Chris? I don't think so. I do not think so at all. I just don't think they got the better closers. If you're expecting the Wolves to come back from 3-0, you're expecting Cat to replicate that performance 3 more times in a row. And I think that, and I think somebody said it last night, like during the broadcast. This is the last comment I'll make before we jump into the WNBA for today. Somebody said it last night. They said, the difference between games 1, 2, and 3 and game 4 last night was that the superstar tandem last night was Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns. In games 1, 2, and 3, it was clearly Luka and Kyrie. I mean, we remember game 1, Kyrie got called out by Anthony Edwards and went out there and hooped. Luka closed game 1 in Minnesota. And then game 2, it was Luka. Luka had a 30-point triple-double in game 2. And then game 3, it was Luka and Kyrie. And Karl-Anthony Towns was missing. going into last night, he was shooting 20% from the field, 13% from the 3-point line, 26% from the field, 13% from the 3-point line. And I mean, clearly, Anthony Edwards was the youngest player in NBA history to put up the numbers that he put up last night. He missed a triple-double by 1 assist. I don't think that they're going to be able to continue to replicate that. You do need Derek Lively back, though, if you're Dallas, in my opinion. But that's enough about that game. Let's jump into the WNBA for today. We got 3 games, and I got one play that I absolutely love, and we'll talk out the rest. So let's jump into it. First game up, we got the Mercury. They will be in New York tonight, taking on the New York Liberty. As far as injury report, I'm not sure. Like I want to wait and kind of see what happens here. It should be a Liberty spot. I'll tell you guys right off the rip. Do they cover this big number? I'm not sure, but it's had to be a couple ways that you can play the Liberty in this spot. The Mercury, they did rest Suggs Sutton yesterday against the Connecticut Sun. And I would not rest, but I mean, she was hurt, so she didn't play. Rebecca Allen also was out with a concussion, and it's going to be interesting to see if those 2 players end up playing in today's game or not. I think that plays a big role into, especially Rebecca Allen, her being fresh, Suggs Sutton, her being fresh. But it should be a Liberty spot. Phoenix absolutely, played like trash last night, man. They really, really, probably took a year off my life last night, how bad they were playing, because then the Lynx didn't need to score the basketball. I mean, then the Connecticut Sun didn't need to score the basketball last night. But this should be a fast-paced game. Liberty play pretty fast. They want to get up and down the floor. The Mercury are playing at the fastest pace in the league right now, even though they didn't play that fast last night. They couldn't. The defense played a little bit better, but neither team could make a shot last night in that game. Let's see real quick. I want to just double-check it. Yeah, Mercury shot 15 for 63 from the field, 24%, 23.8. I'm not even sugarcoating it. We're not rounding up. 23.8% from the field, 1 for 27 from the 3-point line. They shot 3.7% from the 3-point line. Now, do they bounce back tonight? I mean, you can only go up from there, in my opinion. But they also held Connecticut just 5 for 24 from the 3-point line. They only shot 21% from 3. This game, to me, says a lot. It's going to say a lot about the Liberty. The Liberty are coming off back-to-back losses. Of course, they lost to Chicago at home last week. At the end of the week, they were laying 15. I think they were laying 15 in that spot. And then they go to Minnesota in a spot where I thought they were going to bounce back on Saturday. I took them first half, and they got smoked in that spot as well. There's a big difference, in my opinion, between the Chicago Sky, the Minnesota Lynx, and this Phoenix Mercury team. Both of those teams actually play a lot better defense. And this Mercury team is not playing defense. They played pretty well last night, or you could just say Connecticut just missed a bunch of shots. But the Liberty coming back home, off those back-to-back losses. And this is actually, I was looking into it. The Liberty, this is their first time actually losing back-to-back games since August of 2022. And it's the first time since they've assembled the group of Sabrina Ionescu and Stewie and Jonquel Jones. This is their first time ever losing back-to-back games at all. I thought that was pretty interesting. One of the beat writers tweeted that out. I talked about it in the breakdown, and why I like them against the Lynx on Saturday is they typically just play really, really well off a loss, and that's how it was last year. And we haven't been able to see that this year. So I think that they bounce back. They do get 2 days of practice. Kind of go through some things, kind of figure some things out. They need Jonquel Jones to stay on the floor. She continues to get in foul trouble. And then they just got to work on their spacing. I just think the Mercury in a really, really bad spot tonight. If I'm playing the game, though, I can't play the Liberty full game just because they've looked so poorly in the second half of basketball games. I think Liberty early, first quarter, first half is typically where they've, kind of set the tone and the mark. And as long as the Mercury going to be without Brittany Griner, I think that similar to what Bree Jones was able to do last night against the Mercury on the interior, I think Jonquel Jones should have a major bounce back game here. Lib's first quarter -4.5. Lib's first half minus 7.5. I think most of the lines are 8, but that's the way that I would play this one. I would only be looking towards Liberty early. Potential first quarter and first half team total to go over as well. The Mercury are going to want to continue to play fast. And the difference between last night and tonight is the Mercury will be able to get up and down the floor. The Liberty like to play fast too. They like to shoot a ton of threes. And I'm not trusting this Mercury's offense. I'm not trusting the defense either, honestly. We got to remember that, they just got 100 dropped on their head against the Dallas Wings just over the weekend. So only looking towards the New York Liberty, even though they did let me down and took my money the other day. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one before we move on. John says WNBA is a moneymaker. Matt says Chicago Sky will be a super nice team when Cardoso comes back on June 1st. And I'm calling it early. Teresa Weatherspoon, coach of the year in the WNBA. Yeah, if they continue to play as well as they have been playing, Matt, I could definitely see that. Cardoso's going to. I think it could take her a couple, a bit to get her footing underneath her and get acclimated. But she's a big player, so when you have that level of physicality and that size, it could make it for easier transition. I agree with that. Let's see. Brittany says, got talent but no discipline, can't even apply pressure because everyone in foul trouble. Mavs closing. Yeah, and I kind of agree with that as well, Brittany. I definitely agree with that. I think the Mavs close them out. Plus the points is the way that I would be looking. I haven't deep dived into the game though, just kind of sharing thoughts. Mike says Wolves will take at least one more. NBA and the team will lose too much revenue, and we can't. And we all know cash rules everything around me. Yeah, I'm not in with all the conspiracy theories, man. I don't think the NBA wanted it to be 3-0 and 4-0, honestly, but it is what it is. I think the better team at the end of the day gets to dictate how long the series goes. So I'm not into all the other stuff. I just look at the game for the game. Blunt says, how about that team total over? Yeah, it's high, man. And the Liberty offense slows down a lot in the second half. They typically blow you out in the first half, and then they really slow down. I think the team total was up to like 91.5 when I was looking at it earlier. I couldn't talk anybody off. They should be able to score as many points as they want to in this game, but I would look specifically first half. I think they should have 50 at the end of the first half. I think the team total is 47 in the first half. But like I said, this is a game that I didn't bet yet. John says Wilson rebounds. I think that's supposed to be Collier assists and Howard threes. New York Diesel likes New York first half. Shay says Liberty money line. And Liberty is a fast pace, but depending on who is playing. Yeah. Money line is crazy, but yeah, okay. Diesel says took the Sparks money line last night. I'm on a fever, fade them until they string together some dubs. We're gonna talk about that. They actually play tomorrow. Talk about that. Justin said that make me want to step on Mercury team total over, but Liberty might be mad right now and might try to lock down on defense. I don't cap WNBA, so I could be bugging. Nah, that's the model that I'm running and that I'm trying to get up and running for the members. Would suggest for the Mercury team total to go under. I think it's like 78.5. And if we think the Liberty going to play well, they typically play well defensively. And it's crazy to think that the Liberty lost back-to-back games, but they still are, I want to say, the second best defensive team as far as points allowed per game, right behind the Connecticut Sun. I think it's Connecticut, the best defensive team in the league as far as points allowed. The New York Liberty are second, and then the Minnesota Lynx are third. John says 14 points, too much. 10 points is the deal. Okay. Jamie, my WNBA guy, says he likes the Livs first half today. He says he likes Jonquel Jones double at plus 190. I can see that. John also says Dallas will close out. Michi says, yo, finally made it to a Chris live show. What up, y'all? What up, Michi? Appreciate you for being here this morning. And John says, love the chat. Helps out to hear everyone live. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Justin says, yeah, bet Liberty first half. Team total got to be in the fight. Yeah, I think that's the way, Justin. The other thing, though, before we move on to the next game, is if we're kind of expecting the Liberty to run out of gas. I mean, the Mercury to run out of gas here. We got a team coming off 2 days rest, off back-to-back losses, a much inferior team, versus a Mercury team that has really, really struggled. The Mercury, even with them giving up 70 points last night, they're still allowing 86 points per game so far this season. Their opponents are still shooting, 42% from the field and 34% from the three-point line. And the Liberty, when they're clicking on all cylinders, it's typically their offense and their defense. So, yeah, I would only be looking towards Liberty first quarter, first half. Like I said, the Liberty, even though they are just 2-1 at home and they haven't covered a home spread, they're 0-3 against the number at home. The first quarter, they are +8 in the first quarter, 27-19, and that's across 3 games. And they didn't even win the first quarter against the Sky. So yeah, I'm only looking towards the Liberty. I think, like I said, the difference between, the Mercury and the Lynx, and the Mercury, the Lynx, and the Sky is that the Mercury don't play defense. The Sky and the Lynx do. So let's keep it pushing. Move on to the next game. We got the Atlanta Dream and the Washington Mystics. This game is a game that I'm probably the least interested in. The line did already come down. It was I think it opened with the Liberty. With the Dream laying. They were laying 5.5 on the road as favorites here, and then the news broke last night that Shakira Austin was going to be back, and I think that's one of the reasons why. And plus, I don't know how much you really want to trust the Atlanta Dream on the road. She just hasn't really. They haven't really moved the needle specifically, in these games. So let's jump into it. So Brittany Sykes is going to continue to be out. She's missed, I think, the last 4 or 5 games for this Washington Mystics, this Washington Mystics team. Excuse me. And the Washington Mystics, the only team in the WNBA that still does not have a win. They are, I think they're 0-6 straight up, and 3-2-1 against the numbers so far. So they have been covering some of these numbers. They're coming off an absolute beatdown, though. They got smoked in Seattle the other day. Lost that game, I think, by 36, 37 points. But that was a game without Brittany Sykes. I'm sorry, it was a game without Brittany Sykes, but it's also a game without Shakira Austin. You get Shakira Austin back in the lineup, and you on the opposite side, you got an Atlanta Dream team that is 2-2 straight up. They also just 1-3 against the number and 3-1 to the over. Their defense has really, really struggled. They've actually lost. They failed to cover their last 3 straight games in a row, and they've been favorites in each one. So it makes sense why you see them as a favorite and you expect them not to be able to cover here. This game to me is really just dependent upon Shakira Austin. She didn't miss the last game because of an injury. She missed the last game because of personal issues, and she ended up flying back, I guess, to DC or wherever. I think she has some family stuff going on. But Washington, the biggest point I'll make about this game is Washington's defense is dramatically, I'm talking about light years better when Shakira Austin's on the floor. So far this year, they have a defensive rating of a 96.5, 96.9, which is pretty good with her on the floor, and a 110.83 with her off the floor. So their defensive rating drops 13.8 points just with Shakira Austin off the floor. Offensively, it doesn't really take too much of a dip, but she's going to be needed defensively to slow down, Tina Charles, Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. And then, outside of that, it's really just if Atlanta is going to be able to string it all together. We had a nice best bet over the weekend on Minnesota team total over, the Lynx team total over, and Atlanta if their offense isn't clicking, their defense is really struggling as well. Washington typically plays really slow at home. I can't figure this one out. Because could the Dream come in here, and should they be able to beat this Washington Mystics team? I think so. But it wouldn't surprise me if Washington was able to keep this game close and cover the number. I think if I wanted it, I definitely want. I don't like losing the 2.5 points of value, 2 points of value with it opening at 5.5, and now it's already down to 3. So I'll stay off of this one. But I guess if I had to play it, I would be looking towards Washington as a home dog still. I just don't like that I'm losing so many, losing the points of value here. And the total in this one is going up. It opened at 162.5, is up to 165. I don't think I agree with the movement going up. I think Washington will play slow. I think the defense will be better with Shakira Austin being back. And Atlanta, when Ryan Howard isn't, getting it going offensively, I kind of feel like their offense can kind of be stuck in mud. Alicia Gray hasn't really showed us too much, and Haley Jones is really, really struggling to start the season as well, playing the small forward position. So, I think I'd be taking the points with the Mystics, and I also think I would be playing a look towards the under. Let's see what you guys think about this one, if anything at all. Mike says, New York first half points at 47.5. Think I'm going to have to slam that, and I agree with that. Blunt says, Stewie been getting boards for real, though. 4 double-digit rebounds over her last 5 games. John says, what do you think about Wilson rebounds? Asia Wilson, she's been killing the boards. We'll get into that game in a second. Prolific, my brother, he says, Cat, he says, good morning, Chris. Cat was having himself a game yesterday. He absolutely was. John says, would you take Copper under 25.5 points? Absolutely not, John. I mean, Diana Taurasi is going to shoot a bunch of shots, but outside of her, like Kahleah Copper is jacking. She is out there jacking. Like 25.5 is a big number, but it's a big number for a reason. And I do think Kahleah Copper, especially with how bad they shot the ball, bad last night. What did I say? 1 for 20 something. It'd be difficult for me to take an under on Kahleah Copper today, because if they, and the other thing is this, the Liberty, if they have any kind of struggle defensively, it's always against guards. When you got Vandersloot out there and Sabrina Ionescu, they can't guard anybody. So if Kahleah Copper went off in this game, that would not surprise me at all. Even on the second leg of a back-to-back, especially coming off a poor shooting night like she had last night, I wouldn't take Kahleah Copper under. But there are a lot of paths for, because if this game is a blowout, she probably sitting late in this game too. I think they do play again on Friday. So, and they got to travel, of course. So, yeah, I don't have a strong opinion, but it's really difficult for me to fade Kahleah Copper, especially if she gets hot. Tariq says, Mystics are terrible. I can only look towards the dream. Jamie coming in, same thing. He says you like the under 165 here. I like it as well. Fahrenheit, if I had to play it, this might be smart. He says you just take the dream on the money line minus 155. He says they are 3-0 last three in the head-to-head matchup against the Washington Mystics. And Mike says definitely feeling the under on this one. Just let it keep going up, though. I'm interested to see how high it goes. Open at 162.5 all the way up to 165. Joshua says dream money line in the under as well. So a lot of alignment there as well. And Fahrenheit says Howard. Who is Howard? Which Howard are we talking about? Who am I missing? Who is Howard? Natasha Howard. Who is Howard? I don't know who Howard is in this spot. I'm probably missing something. All right, let's go on to the last game. We got to get up out of here. Shouldn't be a super long show. We got the Aces and the Lynx. I bet this one last night. Feel very comfortable in my position this morning because the line has moved a lot. I actually saw this at 6.5 yesterday, but it was only like I just played the majority line. I got the Lynx at +6 yesterday. This line has now started to trickle down. It's down to 4.5 on most books. I like the 4.5 as well. And I see it down to 3.5 on Bookmaker as well. So definitely shop around, see where you can get the best number. Total open at 172 is down to 169.5. I agree with the movement coming down here as well. And a big part of it is just the Lynx. I mean, this team is if you've been watching the WNBA, Lynx have been the best team in the WNBA. They do have one loss, whereas the Connecticut Sun are still undefeated, but the Lynx should have beat the Connecticut Sun as well. There was a BS call at the end of the game where DeWanna Bonner ended up getting some free throws to win that game by 1 point on a foul that was not necessarily a foul against Nafisha Collier. So for the Aces in this game specifically, this is their first road game of the season. They are the defending champs, but they still will be without. Let me double check real quick. I know they're still going to be without Chelsea Gray, which is, I think they're going to continue to be a fade without Chelsea Gray. Kirsten Bell also is going to be out for this game. She missed the last game as well. And this is a team that does not have a lot of depth. I mean, of course, you have, one of the best starting fives, probably the best starting five. Yeah, I think you still got to say the best starting five. But you're down your point guard. You're down your Chris Paul. The point guard is what they call her. Chelsea Gray is really, really good, man. So now you got Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young. You slide in Alicia Clark, Kia Stokes, and Asia Wilson. They're going to go out there and play hard, absolutely. But how do you fade Minnesota right now? Kayla McBride is a veteran that can, stretch the floor. She's coming off one of the better WNBA games in WNBA history. She shot the ball so well from the field against the Atlanta Dream the other day, help us get up and over that team total. Courtney Williams has come in. She's looked absolutely amazing, running the point guard for this team. She plays defense. She pushes pace. Nafisha Collier, of course, is an MVP candidate. I think having the best overall season of any WNBA player so far. But I'm more surprised with Bridget Carlton and Elena Smith. Elena Smith coming over from Chicago, I had no idea that she was going to have this kind of an impact. I saw her stretching the floor and knocking down threes against the against the Atlanta Dream the other day. She got impeccable footwork out there, looking like Jalen Brunson. Using her pivot feet, her pivot foot, and I'm just not looking to fade this team. They will be without Diamond Miller, of course, but let's jump into what I actually had in my notes, man. I was just going through the breakdown. Like, I'm really excited about watching this Lynx team. So first game on the road, like I said, for the Las Vegas Aces, they are 3-1 straight up, but just 1-3 against the number. They haven't been covering. Of course, they've been laying double digits in every single game. The only game that they did cover actually came against the Indiana Fever over the weekend, and the Fever were in the worst spot that they probably could have been in. It was a second leg of a back-to-back after that win against the Sparks. It was also a third game in 4 nights, a fourth and 6, and I think it was like a fifth and 8 nights for the Indiana Fever as well. So the Liberty they did what they were supposed to do in that game. And the opposite side. Well, let's keep going. Let's talk a little bit about, and I talked about this the other day when I talked about fading the Lynx as well, fading the Aces. It's their defense. This is not the same defensive team that they were last year. They actually are the worst 3-point defense in the W so far, allowing teams to shoot 42% from the 3-point line, and teams are making a league high 11.5 threes. No other team in the WNBA has given up 11 threes per game. Just the Las Vegas Aces defense. So when I think about them being a poor defense, and I think about the Lynx and how well they have been, this team is 4-1 straight up, should be 5-0. They are 5-0 against the number though, and they're +10 in point differential, which is the best in the WNBA, which tells me that they are playing well on both sides of the ball. Coming off back-to-back wins against the New York Liberty, they also beat the Atlanta Dream as well. And it's really been their defense. While we talk about the Aces defense struggling, the Lynx defense has been great. They're number one in opponent 3-point makes, allowing teams to make less than 5 threes per game. They're number one in opponent 3-point percentage, holding teams to 26% from the 3-point line. And that 3-point defense is also translated into them just being really good defensively. They're only giving up 78.4 points per game, which is the third fewest in the WNBA as well. So I agree with the total coming down here, because I do think it's going to be a slow-paced game. Well, not a slow-paced game, but the Lynx don't play too fast, and their defense has been, like I said, one of the best defenses in the league. So I love that I got this at 6 last night, because I figured that line wasn't going to stay around. Like I said, it's down to 4.5, and I still like it at 4.5. I think the Lynx have a chance to win this game outright tonight as a home dog, and continue to be perfect against the number at 5-0 against the spread. Now, they will get the best shot from the Aces, but I think the Aces have been playing hard the whole entire time. The Aces offense, I don't think will look as crisp on the road, and I definitely don't think it's going to look as crisp against the Minnesota Lynx defense that's looked really, really good so far. So grabbing the points with the Lynx, like I said, I got it at 6 last night, sent it out to the members. It's my favorite play of the day, and I would still play it right now as well at 4.5. So that's how I'm kind of seeing this one. Let's go back and see what you guys are thinking about this one. And I do want to touch on Seattle and Indiana for tomorrow as well. Let's see. Gaming with Honcho says lost a 5-leg because the NBA couldn't get over 205.5 points. Had Sparks to win and Storm. Jamie says he grabbed the Lynx at +6.5. He got a better number than I did. I like it though, Jamie. Let's cash it, man. This is a full 1 unit bet for me. Most of my plays so far have been 0.75, but I like that a lot. John says that movement is making me think someone is hurt. I don't think it's hurt. I think most of the time in the W, you gotta know what you like the night before, because the lines move a lot and they're not as sharp as as the NBA, especially early in the season. So it's one of the reasons why I'm gonna talk about a little bit about Seattle and Indiana for tomorrow as well when we get through the comments here. DJ Pop says like the over for Aces and Lynx. He likes it over 169.5. And I think we disagree there just a tad bit. I think the Aces offense will regress just a tad bit, not being at home. And it makes sense because the Lynx defense has been playing so well. So a little bit of disagreement from me and Prop here. Diesel says, I think the Lynx want to show the W that they can ball out with the like the Wolves. I see them going pretty far this year. And I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I mean, if you think about who the Lynx have played, they haven't played, it hasn't been really scrubs. Like, this was the team that went Well, not that went, but they've already beat the Liberty, who were in the finals last year. They already beat the Storm twice, who we see the Storm kind of figuring it out now. Storm go into Chicago, win that game pretty easily yesterday, won by double digits as a 3-point favorite last night. And they beat the Storm twice already. Once in India, once in Seattle, once at home. Like I said, should have beat the Sun. So they haven't really had the easiest schedule. And that win against the Dream on Saturday was the second leg of a back-to-back. After beating the Liberty, it was a letdown spot, and they win that game too. Like I said, they're plus 10 in point differential. I'm not looking to fade the Lynx anytime soon. Mike Diesel said Agent Wilson low-key fine. We'll leave that there. Fahrenheit says he likes Ryan Howard. My fault, man. I'm like, who is Howard? Yeah, Ryan Howard. So Fahrenheit likes Ryan Howard over her points, is what he was saying. Howard to score 20. That's my fault. I'm tripping. Minus 138 for Ryan Howard to go over her 28. He says she had 25, 21, and 23 in last 3 or 4. And I can see that. She should be in for a big game here. Pivot feet. Let's see. Justin says got the +6. It might put a half unit on the Lynx money line since it's moving in our direction. Yeah, I think a sprinkle on the money line would be bad. I didn't do it myself yet, though. Jamie says Storm -2 tomorrow. Wish I could have got the money line when it's at -115. So that's the play for tomorrow. He says, I know we already talked about the libs, but first quarter team total 23.5 is an absolute hammer. And I didn't see that. I think I did saw the 47.5 for the first half, Jamie, but I'm right there. I will be on the Liberty first quarter team total over 23.5 today. I love that number. And real quick, just to back it up, I know that they didn't play well in their last home game against Chicago Sky, but the Liberty are averaging 24.3 points per game in the first quarter, and in home games, they're averaging 27 in the first quarter against the Fever, the Storm, and the Sky so far. 3 games, averaging 27 points per game in the first quarter. So maybe this is even better than playing their first quarter spread. The first quarter spread, I saw it at 4.5. I think both of those are playable for sure. Mercury gets smoked again, in my opinion. They just don't have enough defense, and I think Jonquil has a really good game in this spot because she'll be out of foul trouble. There's nobody that can really hold her for the Mercury here. So the more I talk about it, and I'm glad we got a chance to talk it out, I do like that first quarter team total over a lot, and I like the Liberty to come out focused in this spot, even though they are laying such a big number. So I didn't even make a graphic for this one, and we'll just, before we jump into the recap, we'll go there just for a quick second. Tomorrow, Jamie mentioned it right here. He says Storm -2.5 for tomorrow. So right before the show, I didn't even send this out to the members yet. I just wanted to check the injury report because I didn't see anybody, get hurt for Seattle yesterday. This line open, I wrote it down last night. The Fever were laying a point. The Fever were laying a point last night against the Seattle Storm. That line couldn't have been more off. It's already shifted 3 points because the Seattle Storm are laying 2 now as road favorites against the Indiana Fever tomorrow. And if you know anything about the Indiana Fever, they're 1-7 straight up, and a loss last night against the LA Sparks. Does not bode well for them. Against Seattle. I think Seattle wins the game. Probably by margin tomorrow. But I did play them on the money line. The money line is -130 right now on DraftKings. That's the only book that I see it open on according to the Wager Talk live eye screen. But definitely shop around. You can probably find something. Let me just double check it real quick and see where I see it on other books. Yeah, 2 is still the best number though. Like, I'm gonna send this out to the members. I would play the 2.5 too. I did just play the money line though, -130. It's a pretty big bet for me for tomorrow as well. But I did take Seattle already against the Fever. Memphis hit with the Sparks yesterday. I should have just played it. I didn't even end up playing the Sparks yesterday. And so just jumping into a quick recap, short list. Like I said, New York, think they do come out focused here. I'm not trusting Phoenix defensively. Second leg of a back-to-back. No real rim interior presence, in my opinion, without Brittany Griner being there, and a team that wanted to continue to play fast. So New York, either first quarter team total over, or New York on the first half spread. Same thing for the first half. I think they go over the 47.5 points as well. And then Minnesota, I played the +6 in all transparency, but I would still grab it at +4.5. I think this number continues to come down, and I think they probably win the game outright tonight. I do like the Lynx a lot tonight, and that was the play that I made. And like I said, I'll stay off the Atlanta and Washington game, but I do think under 165.5 would probably be my preferred play if I was playing that game. And that's the game. That's the games for today, man. The show ended up being a lot longer than I thought, but I like coming on here, being able to talk it out with you guys as well. I like going through the comments. That's why I do the show the way that I do it. And I appreciate everybody for, like helping, for giving insight. Not always going to be valuable, but, there are some pretty sharp handicappers in the chat that pop into the show. And I appreciate, you guys voicing your opinion as well. So resources that I use are here. I've been talking about Moneyballer for a while, but if you guys haven't signed up, I would definitely check out Moneyballer, man. It's a one-stop shop for handicapping MLB, NBA, WNBA. I mean, all the stats are there, the trends, the situational stuff. It's really, really cool website. Definitely check them out if you haven't. And I think it's still free right now as well. And then OddsJam, always got to shout out the promo. If you guys are interested in checking out the sports betting software that they do have, you can get 25% off your first month using code CBC. The link for that is in the description. And then all the other resources that I use, none of them, like pay me or do anything for me, but I always like putting them here because I think, iron sharpens iron, and I like being able to help you guys, especially the newer people, use the people always asking where I get this from, where I get that from. All the resources that I use are right here for you guys to see. So you just got to figure out how to use them. And that's the show, man. If you found it helpful, if you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Share the show, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Link for all my official plays will be in the description as well. I bet responsibly. Best of luck and enjoy your Wednesday, man. I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.